What's going on, YouTube? So in today's auto market, brands can simply not have enough crossovers, which is why Lexus expanded into the blossoming subcompact crossover segment last year with this Lexus UX. This is actually the entry point into the entire Lexus brand, with a starting price just a touch over $32,000. And now for 2020, Lexus is throwing in even more standard equipment into the equation. Now, of course, we do want to take a moment to specially thank our friends at Lexus of Lexington for providing this UX today. And if you're in the market for any new Lexus, make sure you stop by their dealership or check them out via their website. So with that all said, let's see if this UX is the best luxury crossover value. So like always, we'll go ahead and start off with the exterior styling. And this UX has some similar characteristics to other Lexus models, but also some different ones. One of the similar characteristics is the spindle grille. Of course, this is their signature grille. And you do have some differences with this F-Sport model. This has kind of the black mesh versus the other spiderweb type of design, and it also has a different color on the outside edge and a different housing for the fog light. Now, as far as the headlights, you actually do have standard LEDs across all of the trim levels, which is nice for $32,000 starting price. This is the standard version where it's all LED except for this incandescent turn signal, but you can get optional triple beam full LED lights with the 3 crystals, and that is fully LED. Now, one of the things I like about this UX are the wheels, because you actually get 18-inch alloys as standard equipment, unlike the bigger NX, which comes standard with 17-inch alloys. Now, as far as the designs though, you've got 2 different choices. You have a standard contrast design for the non-F-Sport models, and then the F-Sport models come with this dark finished alloy. And then coming up here to your mirrors, you've got this typical cool Lexus design. As far as the features, the heating is standard. However, you will have to go up to the luxury trim if you want auto dimming or power folding. You also have the blind spot monitoring integrated within the mirror, and that's going to be available as an option in the premium package until you get up to that luxury model.
Alrighty, so before we get to the rear design, I do want to point out that the UX does have a lot of these plastic moldings around the wheels that gives it a kind of distinct and almost rugged look. And heading around to the rear, you do definitely have a unique design. This looks like absolutely nothing else on the road. It actually looks a lot like Lexus's concept car. But as far as the features are concerned, you are going to have full-length LED taillights. These are actually fully LED, which is a very premium touch. And down on the bottom, you will have some more of this black molding. And on the F-Sport specifically, you will also have this kind of dark graphite trim that matches with the grille in the front. Now here on the safety front, the Lexus UX is definitely going to shine because it does come standard with the Lexus Safety Sense 2.0 system. So beyond the usual automatic emergency braking, lane departure alert with steering assist, adaptive cruise control, and automatic high beam headlights, version 2.0 also includes bicyclist and low light pedestrian detection, road sign assist, and an active lane tracing assist that keeps you centered in your lane. Now, most rivals will definitely require you option on expensive packages for that, and it's very nice that this is standard across all of the UXs. But anyway, guys, that sums up all of the cool exterior design of the UX. So now let's go ahead and hop inside and see what's cool in there as well.
So on every version of the UX, you will have the standard Lexus Smart Entry system, as well as their typical key fob, which has some real metal trim along the side. Now, there is one change for 2020 in this area, and that's that the Lexus Enform remote control app that has been expanded to have a 3-year free trial, and included within that is your remote start system. Now, of course, to get inside the vehicle itself, all you have to do is just grab the handle and it will unlock. Alright, so taking a peek inside this Lexus UX, as you can tell, really the thing that strikes me right off the bat is that it really looks a lot different than the other Lexuses as far as the design is concerned. Now, in terms of your color and material options, every single model is going to come with the new Lux faux leather seating, and then your color options are going to be black, glazed caramel, birch, or birch with a special blue dashboard if you go for the base or the luxury model. And then when you choose this F Sport model, you have the choices between this black here or also a really cool circuit red color. Now turning over here to your door trim, it is nicely appointed. You will find a leather material here on your armrest, as well as all the rest is a soft touch plastic. All 4 of your windows are one-touch automatic. You would also find memory seating if you go for the luxury model or option it on to the F Sport. As far as the seats, they are 8-way power adjusting with 2-way lumbar support across all the models. And then, like I was saying, the seat material itself is the new Lux, but as I've said in the past, it does an amazing job, amazing impersonation. Definitely feels just as nice as most grades of leather. On the F Sport, you also have the special embroidering and the really cool design with the thick bolsters. Now checking out the interior materials, I can say this certainly does not feel like an entry-level Lexus. So across your upper dash here, this is a soft touch plastic, but as far as this more accessible area, this is actually finished in a nice leatherette material with a color contrast stitching. Now one thing that's interesting about this model is that you can get a cloth fabric through here in a couple interesting colors, so that makes for a really cool look if you choose to go that route. But anyways, continuing on, you have some kind of aluminum look trim, some more soft touch plastic, and then along the bottom tunnel here, you do have a nice leatherette, which is good to bump your knee against. Now standard across all the UX models, you do have push button start, finished in blue for the hybrid model. Now of course you won't really hear anything start up here on this hybrid model since we did start up with the electric motor. But anyways, as far as the gauges themselves, all the UXs actually do come with a digital display. However, on the F Sport, you get these specific F Sport gauges like in other Lexus models. So the cool thing, of course, with this is you can press this button here, and then the whole panel will slide off to the side, which will reveal to you the larger multi-function display where you can see the all the details of what you want to look at. Whereas when you put it in this mode here, you kind of have a more basic version, which kind of reduces the clutter down to just the main gauges as far as, and the energy displays down in the middle. Up above that, you do have your traction control button as well as your drive modes, and a head-up display is available optionally. Heading back to the steering wheel, it is electric power assisted steering, and obviously we do have the F Sport specific steering wheel. Very nice feeling in the hand. You also will notice we have rain sensing wipers. That's part of the F Sport premium package, but all the models will come with paddle shifters, even though this does have a continuously variable transmission. As far as the steering wheel is manually tilt and telescoping, and on this specific model we have optioned on the 2-stage heat. Alright, so now let's go ahead and move into the storage component. I have to say, there's more storage on board than you would expect from a vehicle that's this small. So to start out with our center console here, this is impressively large for a vehicle in this class. And as you can see, you do have a nice felt lining at the bottom, as well as 2 USB ports and a 12-volt outlet. Also, this does open up from both sides, which is a nice party trick. Up in the front here, we do have our 2 cup holders. You have another large area right here to stick your phone, as well as a 12-volt outlet, which you can press and have kind of come out of the dashboard there. Now coming back to the shifter here, this is your typical Lexus shifter. You can bump back to drive and then bump to the left to shift manually through some simulated gears, since like I already mentioned, this is a continuously variable transmission. And when we go into reverse, you will also find a standard backup camera up here. We do not have active trajectory, but we do have the optional parking sensors on this model. And you can probably hear right now there's a little sound effect playing. When the engine's not running, it does have an electric sound effect to let pedestrians know. But the engine has just restarted now, so it turns off. And then when you put the vehicle into park, the electronic parking brake, which is located right here, this automatically engages on its own. You also have a brake hold, and you have a button here to lock it into EV only. Alright, so now you look over here. This is quite a bit different than the other Lexus models. You have some buttons that surround this console here that you can use as a roller. So this is your volume knob. So we'll go ahead and sample the 6-speaker audio system on this model. Yeah, sound quality of this system is pretty good, which is definitely good because there is not a Mark Levinson sound system offered on the UX at this time. Of course, in front of that, you do have your typical remote touch controller. And then we'll come on up here to our climate controls. On every UX, you have a dual zone automatic setup. So it's very simple to adjust just with these little toggles right here. You can also see the adjustments display up in the top display if you want. And then down below that, we have our seat heating controls. We have the 3-stage heated seats. These are optional in the premium package for the F-Sport model. The other 2 trims, they can also have seat ventilation, but not the F-Sport. Okay, so now we are up here at our main Lexus Enform display. Obviously, this one is the smaller one. This is the 7-inch display. It comes standard on all the models besides for the luxury trim. The other version comes with a 10.3-inch display instead, so it'll basically take up this entire unit here. Now, this is exactly the same as all the other Lexus models. So you have, it's not a touch display, of course. So you can just scroll through your different applications. Now, I do want to point out the 1-20-20 change, and that is that Android Auto is now supported in addition to Apple CarPlay and Amazon Alexa. With the 7-inch display, you do not have navigation, but you will when you get the 10.3-inch display. Now, moving on up here, we do have the auto-dimming mirror with the HomeLink universal remotes and the compass. That is optional. And additionally, we have the optional power moonroof. It will come standard on the luxury only, but the other 2 trims, including this F-Sport, can option it on. And you do have a windscreen. Okay, so that is everything to look at in the front areas of this UX. So now we'll go ahead and hand it off to my brother Mason to check out all the back areas.
So in the rear seats of the UX, you are going to start to see kind of where you're paying the price for that small exterior dimensions. And it's actually not going to be in the feature set though, because Lexus does equip it pretty nicely. You do have vents back here. They are pretty small, but you do have vents, which is nice. And you also do have 2 smart charging USB ports that are standard across the board. You are not going to have the option of heated rear seats, even though I don't really expect that in this class. And here in the center, we do have a fold-down armrest with cup holders inside. And then this is kind of where it starts to take a downfall because the materials back here are a little bit downgraded from the front. This is all a hard touch plastic. And in terms of the rear legroom, this is going to be a pretty tight area. It's 33 inches of rear legroom and 36 inches of rear headroom, which does place it behind some of its rivals like the BMW X1. But really none of them in this class are very large, so you're probably going to be okay as long as you don't have 2 big adults in the back. So here at the tailgate, we do have an optional power one with the kick sensor under the bumper here. That's a $600 option on the Premium and the F-Sport. And once it opens up, you are going to find 22 cubic feet of space behind the second row seats for the regular model. Or the hybrid has a 17 cubic foot capacity due to that additional battery up under the floor here. And you can definitely notice it is a little bit on the tighter side back here. The floor doesn't actually start until almost up to my hip. So that is definitely going to limit your space. And in comparison to its rivals like the BMW X1, that is a little bit less than that. But Lexus does finish it pretty nicely. So up underneath of the floor, we do have a little bit of storage. It's pretty minimal, but you do have some if you need additional ones. And your seats do also fold 60-40 split. You just lift up and fold it like that. So here at the passenger seat, Lexus does throw in an 8-way power adjusting one as standard across the board. And in front of you, you do have a quite small glove box. This is honestly not very big at all. It is also not felt lined, but it is dampened. And up top, we do have a sun visor with a light and mirror, and it does also detach and extend. But anyway, guys, this is a UX hybrid, so now let's go ahead and take it out on the road where you're really going to be seeing that benefit of that hybrid powertrain.
I'm not thinking what it's supposed to be doing, but it thinks it's doing. It was too powerful. It blew it off. And of course, when you first take off, since this is a hybrid model, you have no sound at all. It's very quiet. It's just the operating in EV mode.
Mm, 20 miles an hour, still in the EV mode.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's a relatively small and lightweight vehicle, so it will, you know, with some regular city driving, it will stay in the EV mode. But when you give it some gas, then the engine kicks right in like that. Now this vehicle is designed for efficiency and not for performance, so it is not a quick vehicle. What you're looking at is 181 horsepower with this hybrid model. That's with the gas engine and the hybrid componentry added together. The gas-powered model is actually a little less powerful, 169 horsepower from its 2-liter 4-cylinder engine. And then 0 to 60s are a little bit under 9 seconds. So, you know, once again, it's not going to be a fast vehicle, but this is way more efficient than the competition. You know, most of the competition just using a standard 4-cylinder and gets average fuel economy, where this really shines in the fuel economy.
You know, yeah, and it's important to keep in mind, you know, a car's mission when you're evaluating it. I mean, this is not made to be like sporting around the town or anything. It's really just made, you know, like you said, maximum efficiency, driving through the city. You're stuck in traffic, you know, sitting at a red light. You don't need power for that. You just need, you know, to get from point A to point B in the most efficient way possible.
And I'm impressed by how much it's been staying in the EV mode. Most of what we've done so far, just driving around here, has been in the EV mode. I mean, power is really not bad, you know. I'm also impressed by how quiet it is. This is a Lexus. Even though this is an entry-level Lexus, it is a Lexus after all.
Yeah.
And, you know, it is remains smooth, refined, quiet. You know, it's not like really super loud and strained sounding.
Yeah, that's honestly one of the things that impressed me the most about it last year. Is I was expecting, you know, entry-level luxury cars they can sometimes really cheapen them down just because they're the cheapest one or whatever. And I'm really not feeling that with this UX. It really rides, like you said, it continues to ride like a Lexus, even though it is the cheapest one. It is still a very, very premium ride. And part of that might have to do. This car does also have noise cancellation, so you're definitely going to really have that quiet cabin in here.
The handoff between the battery and the electric mode is really, really smooth. You can hardly feel it at all. You really can't hear it. Now, what you probably have noticed and I haven't talked about yet is that this does have a continuously variable transmission. There are some gear simulations. You can use the paddles when you have the F-Sport, like I mentioned earlier in the review as well. And there also is a sound simulating system here on the F-Sport model. So you'll notice that you have a little bit of a more aggressive engine note that is brought in through the speaker system for this F-Sport model. Now, a lot of you guys might be choosing between the gas-powered UX 200, 250, and 250H hybrid model. So there are some differences, obviously, beyond just the powertrain situation. One of those is the transmission. This is a conventional continuously variable transmission. That model, the gas model, has the DCVT, which is the same as from the Corolla hatchback. You have one physical launch gear, which is a one-speed automatic essentially, which hands off to a continuously variable transmission. After that, that allows you to kind of launch off better. The other thing is that this model has all-wheel drive, or the hybrid model, because the electric motor is in the back, that effectively makes all-wheel drive, whereas the gas-powered model without the electric motor in the back, that is front-wheel drive only. I mean, it's been quite a while since we drove the 2019, that was the gas-powered model, but I definitely think that this is probably the way to go.
Yeah.
More efficient, doesn't cost a whole lot more, it's quieter. I also like the way that it feels when you launch off using the EV mode. It has a more punch to it. It feels faster. It is faster actually as well, but it feels like more of a difference than I was expecting to feel. As far as your steering and your handling, really nice responding setup here. When I kicked it in the sport mode, the steering firms up really nicely, as you could just see just then. Really responsive, really quick. It feels nicely weighted, but not super heavy because this is a city vehicle. And then as far as the whole dynamics, this is a small, compact vehicle, but it's based on the newest Toyota Lexus architecture, so it definitely feels, sporty, agile, and quite balanced as well.
But finally getting into the most important part about this car's driving dynamics is its fuel economy. So for the regular 200 version, that's going to come in at 29 city, 37 highway, 33 combined. And then if you go for the hybrid, which is what we have here, that's going to be rated quite a bit better at 41 city, 38 highway, 39 combined, which honestly, both of those fuel economies are absolutely fantastic. But this hybrid really knocks it out of the park. In a kind of SUV type of thing, to get anywhere near 40 miles a gallon is really quite good. And just for reference, that's 8 mpg better than the NX, and just really fantastic for the class. So it's really knocking it out of the park where it matters here with this UX.
So if you're wondering what UX stands for, it stands for Urban Explorer. That's Lexus's idea, but I think it really does live up to that classification. This really is a great urban vehicle. Just driving around the city, a lot of cars we drive, it's like frustrating. You're like, oh, I just want to take it out on like the open road. But you can tell this is designed to be in the city. Like, it's really the way that it stays in EV mode all the time. You just kind of go around and perfect peaceful quietness. You're achieving nearly 40 miles a gallon combined from a crossover, and then all this is packaged together with Lexus luxury, Lexus quietness, and also a price tag that is only a little over $30,000.
Alright, and for the pricing for this 2020 UX, for the base model, that's going to start at $32,300. The F Sport is going to be $34,300, and then you have the Luxury, and that's $37,500. Now, that is for the UX 200, and if you want the hybrid model like what we have here, that's going to be an approximate $2,000 additional charge on all of the prices that I just mentioned. Now, we have the hybrid F Sport with some options. So we have the windshield de-icer for $100, auto dimming interior mirror for $325, parking assist for $565, the power rear door with kick sensor for $600, the F Sport premium package for $1475, the F Sport steering wheel that's heated $150, the all-weather floor liners $280, and a cargo mat, key glove, and wheel box for $215. And then finally, when you add the destination charge of $1,025, you come into a grand total of $41,085, which I have to mention, is, it's a pretty good price point for all that you're getting here. You are getting a very nice cabin, absolutely fantastic fuel economy, and really a great, really compact crossover to drive around the city. Well guys, that sums up this review of the 2020 Lexus UX Hybrid. If you've made it this far, that hopefully means that you enjoyed the video, so be sure to help us out by hitting those subscribe buttons down below. Also be sure to like and comment, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.